a specific private interaction, detailed in a prominent royal biography, has resurfaced, casting a renewed critical light on the public persona of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and the nature of his relationship with his former spouse, Sarah Ferguson. The incident, involving an alleged derogatory remark, reportedly caused significant humiliation and astonishment among those present, further fueling long-standing narratives about the Duke's conduct, and prompting discussions among those observing royal affairs regarding the implications of such private exchanges on public perception. The account originates from Tina Brown's book, The Palace Papers, which details an alleged event in 2015 at Royal Lodge, a setting often associated with the Duke of York's residence. Miss Brown, described as a seasoned royal commentator with decades of experience covering the royal family and engaging with insiders, presented this particular episode as a pivotal illustration of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's character. Her work is regarded as a substantial contribution royal commentary, moving beyond casual gossip provide detailed insights. During a lunch meeting at Royal Lodge, attended by Sarah Ferguson and a respected American media executive, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor reportedly entered the room. According to Miss Brown's narrative, he then looked directly at Miss Ferguson and uttered the words, "What are you doing with this fat cow?" This remark, as reported, has continued to elicit strong reactions due to its overtly personal and confrontational nature, especially considering the public setting within a private gathering. The immediate reaction from the American media executive present was one of profound shock and dismay. The guest was reportedly stunned by the Duke's behaviour and subsequently described him in extremely blunt terms, indicating a significant level of disapproval. This particular reaction is noteworthy because it did not emanate from a royal commentator seeking critique or sensationalize, but rather from an independent witness who observed the exchange and found it profoundly appalling, lending a different dimension to the reported incident. The context of this alleged insult is particularly salient, given that it was directed towards Sarah Ferguson, the mother of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's children. Despite their separation years prior, the former couple had maintained an unusually close relationship, a dynamic rarely observed among royal ex-spouses. Their bond extended living under the same roof at various times, cooperatively raising their daughters, and frequently appearing together in public, often conveying the impression of a unified team in an unofficial capacity. This established closeness makes the alleged public slight even more striking, prompting observers question the underlying dynamics of their private life. Furthermore, the alleged remark is seen as having targeted a known personal vulnerability of Miss Ferguson. She had openly discussed her struggles with weight, emotional eating, and issues related self-image in a 2015 interview on The Today Show. Ms. Ferguson explicitly described food as an addiction, explaining that she used it as a mechanism to suppress difficult feelings and cope with painful headlines and personal pressure. If the allegation is accurate, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's comment was not a casual or random jest, but a deliberate targeting of an insecurity she had publicly acknowledged, elevating the nature of the remark beyond mere banter, an act of perceived cruelty. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's public image has been shaped over decades by numerous accounts, suggesting a disposition marked by entitlement, arrogance, and a perceived belief in his exemption from conventional rules. This reputation has been reinforced by various staff's rise, public controversies, disputes concerning privilege, and a consistently described defensive attitude. Critics have often characterized him as pompous, demanding, and resistant limitations, with reports spanning years detailing his resistance changes in living arrangements and his apparent struggles accept a reduced public role. This history includes repeated disagreements over matters of housing, security, status, and finances, contributing a consistently critical assessment of his conduct. While Sarah Ferguson herself has not been immune public scrutiny, having faced criticism for years regarding financial controversies, instances of perceived poor judgment, and questionable associations, her own past challenges do not diminish the significance of the alleged insult. Even individuals who may hold critical views of Ms. Ferguson have reportedly acknowledged that Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's alleged behaviour in this instance was unacceptable. For many, the incident aligns with the broader pattern of conduct that has long been attributed him, reinforcing a widely held perception of his character, When the account from Royal Lodge resurfaced, it did not strike many royal observers as an isolated incident or an anomaly. Instead, it was perceived as consistent with Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's established public persona, feeling notably familiar those who have followed his career. This consistency may constitute the most detrimental aspect of the Shry, as a single rude remark might be dismissed as an aberration, but when it resonates with a long history of complaints about attitude and behavior, the public tends to interpret it differently, integrating it in a larger narrative. The particular circumstances of the alleged event, a lunch meeting with a guest present, offering an opportunity for charm, politeness, and hospitality, underscore the nature of the purported choice made. The allegation posits that instead of exhibiting conventional social graces, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor opted for humiliation. This choice, as described, is not indicative of strength, wit, humility, or confidence, but rather is characterized as bad manners wrapped in rank, suggesting a misuse of status to demean another person in a public-private setting. The renewed public attention this alleged incident coincides with Sarah Ferguson maintaining a significantly lower profile. This period of reduced public visibility for Ms. Ferguson is occurring amid intensified scrutiny connected Jeffrey Epstein-related documents and calls from some United States lawmakers for her testimony. While she is not legally required to appear, her public presence has notably diminished, marking a substantial withdrawal from the public eye. This contemporary context lends a new dimension to the discussion surrounding historical reports of interactions involving members of the royal family. The alleged insult and its detailed recounting serve as a significant point of reference in understanding the complexities of royal relationships and the enduring public scrutiny faced by prominent figures. It provides a unique lens through which to examine the dynamics between public roles and private conduct, and how such interactions, even those occurring years in the past, continue to shape perceptions and contribute the broader narrative surrounding the British royal family. The incident, as reported, remains a notable component in the ongoing public discourse concerning Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's character and his place within the royal institution. The Palace Papers, published in 2022, provided an extensive examination of the British royal family's recent history, drawing on numerous unnamed sources described by Ms. Brown as individuals with direct knowledge of royal affairs. The book's release generated considerable media attention, offering an insider's perspective on various events and personalities within the monarchy. Its detailed accounts, including the incident at Royal Lodge, were widely discussed across British and international news outlets. Royal Lodge, located within Windsor Great Park, has a long history as a royal residence. It served as the Queen Mother's final home, and subsequently became the primary residence of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor following her death in 2002. The financial arrangements surrounding his occupancy, including significant refurbishment costs, have been a recurring pick of public interest and media scrutiny over the years, contributing discussions about royal finances and privilege. The unusually close relationship maintained by Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson post-divorce was often contrasted with the more formal separations of other royal couples, such as Charles, Prince of Wales, and Diana, Princess of Wales. Their decision to continue living together at Royal Lodge for extended periods after their 1996 divorce, and their joint public appearances fostered a public image of enduring familial unity despite their marital separation. This unique arrangement frequently prompted speculation regarding the true nature of their bond and its implications for their children, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Ms. Ferguson's public statements regarding her struggles with weight and self-image were a consistent feature of her public narrative, particularly in the years leading up and including 2015. She had previously served as a spokesperson for Weight Watchers, a role that brought her personal challenges in the public domain and positioned her as an advocate for body positivity and healthy living. This background meant her vulnerabilities were not only known, but had been actively discussed by her in public forums, making the alleged remark particularly pointed. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's reputation for perceived entitlement predates the alleged 2015 incident and extends back his earlier career. His former role as the UK's Special Representative for International Trade and Investment which he held from 2001-2011, attracted criticism for alleged misuse of public funds and concerns over his associations with various international figures. These controversies, alongside reports of lavish travel and security costs, contributed a long-standing narrative of an individual who struggled to adapt public expectations of austerity and accountability. The broader implications of private conversations involving members of the royal family becoming public through biographies like the Palace Papers are significant. Such accounts often provide rare glimpses in the personal dynamics within an institution that maintains considerable privacy, influencing public perception of individual royals and the monarchy's internal culture. These narratives contribute a more nuanced understanding of the challenges and pressures faced by those in prominent public roles. The alleged remark, if accurate, retrospectively casts a different light on the public perception of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor and Sarah Ferguson's co-parenting relationship. While they presented a united front in raising their daughters, the suggestion of such a demeaning private interaction, even within a close family unit, introduces questions about the sincerity of their unified team persona and the underlying respect, or lack thereof, in their personal exchanges. The concept of bad manners wrapped in rank frequently arises in discussions concerning members of the aristocracy or those in positions of inherited privilege. It suggests that individuals may leverage their status behave in ways that would be socially unacceptable for others, often with an expectation of immunity from consequence. This characterization has been applied to various historical and contemporary figures, highlighting a perceived disconnect between social standing and appropriate conduct. The accumulation of negative reports regarding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's conduct, of which the alleged 2015 incident is an example, contributed a sustained decline in his public standing long before more severe controversies emerged. Each incident, when viewed in conjunction with others, reinforced a narrative that eventually led intensified calls for his withdrawal from public duties, illustrating how a pattern of behavior can erode public trust and support over time. The expectation of decorum and polite conduct is generally high for members of the British royal family, given their symbolic roles and public representation. Instances of perceived rudeness or insensitivity, particularly when directed at family members or guests, often draw considerable attention and criticism. Such incidents are frequently contrasted with the carefully cultivated public images of other senior royals, who typically adhere strict protocols of public engagement and personal interaction.